Welcome to our history. Today we're looking at the largest gun ever built, the heavy Gustav. The gun was not new during World War I. The Germans had built and used several large railway guns, including the infamous Paris gun. But what marked out the Schwerer Gustav, or heavy Gustav, was its enormous dimensions. It was far in excess of anything seen before. The German High Command asked the armaments firm Krupp to design a gun that could be used to knock out forts on the Maginot Line in France in the event of another war. Importantly, the gun had to be able to shell the forts while remaining out of range of French artillery. Krupp came up with a caliber of 80 centimeters, or 31.5 inches. To put this in perspective, the Bismarck, Germany's future largest battleship, mounted guns up to 38 centimeters caliber, or 15-inch. So, the Schwerer Gustav would be over twice the size of the largest naval guns of the period. Its barrel would be 32.5 meters, or 106 feet long. Throughout the 1930s and into the early 1940s, Krupp designers and engineers worked to create a functioning gun of this enormous caliber. The first test firing was on the 10th of September 1941. A series of further tests saw the gun fling a 7-ton armor-piercing shell 37,210 meters, or 23 miles. 2 guns were built by Krupp. They were mounted on a specially designed chassis supported by 8 bogies on 2 parallel railway tracks. The first gun was free, but Krupp charged the German government 7 million Reichmarks, about $30 million today, for the second, named Dora. Special unit was formed to crew and transport the guns. Heavy Artillery Unit E-672, Schwerer Gustav, was sent to the Russian front and put into the siege of Sevastopol. The Soviet city was ringed by forts, and the gun would be used to reduce them one by one. But getting Schwerer Gustav into position was a long-winded process. Firstly, engineers had to build a special railway spur line 16 kilometers, or 10 miles north of the target. At the end of the spur, the Germans constructed semicircular tracks so Gustav could traverse and aim at each Soviet fort in turn. Then, further outer tracks were laid for the huge cranes needed to assemble the gun. Schwerer Gustav arrived in early March 1942. The gun train was 25 carriages stretching 1.5 kilometers, or almost a mile in length. Assembling and moving the gun into position took 4,000 German troops 5 weeks to complete. From the 5th to the 17th of June, Schwerer Gustav targeted forts and ammunition magazines, causing immense damage. Sevastopol was in ruins as German artillery of all calibers had pummeled the city with 30,000 tons of munitions. Among that total were the 48 rounds fired by Schwerer Gustav, which equated to 336 tons of explosives. The damage wrought by this gun was impressive. On the 6th of June, Schwerer Gustav targeted the ammunition mountain, an undersea ammunition magazine in Sevastopol's northern bay. The extraordinary store was actually 30 meters underwater and had 10 meters of concrete protecting it. Yet, 9 7-ton armor-piercing shells from Schwerer Gustav obliterated the magazine and also sank a Soviet warship. The giant coastal gun batteries inside the Maxim Gorky fortresses were pummeled by the Schwerer Gustav. On the 17th of September, 5 shells were fired, knocking out Maxim Gorky 1 and damaging Maxim Gorky 2. But Schwerer Gustav needed work. The gun barrel was worn out and replaced. The next stop for Schwerer Gustav was Leningrad, also under siege. The gun had just become fully operational when a proposed attack was cancelled, and Schwerer Gustav was placed in storage for the winter. Its sister gun, Dora, was deployed close to Stalingrad, but was withdrawn to avoid the Soviet encirclement of the city. Neither gun saw any further action, largely because they were so immense and obvious targets for enemy aircraft. Schwerer Gustav was blown up to prevent capture by the US Army on the 14th of April, 1945. Its ruins were discovered in a forest 9 miles north of Auerbach and about 30 miles southwest of Chemnitz. Thanks very much for watching. Please subscribe for more stories on the Our History channel.